The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
You're listening to DJ Aaron 868.
It is Tuesday, the 7th of September, 2021, and it is currently a couple of minutes after 7 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the true nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
culture crazy.
If I could insert a drum roll sound effect, I would have done it now. But just for the grand fanfare, sir, we are back.
It's like we never left though.
Yeah, the living room is back right where we started.
Wait. I mean, where we started?
On a Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Oh, all right. Cool. That's what you meant at home now.
Oh, anyway, before we go any further, let's get this out of the way, all right? Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, must say thank you to those that went before us, not just the ancestors,
talking about,
but also to Tony P.
Correct is right.
And the P this week stands for
premiere. Keeping it simple, because this is the premiere the premiere episode of season 3. And also, Aaron, the premiere of our visual. I mean, what's the phrase? What's the terminology that we're going with?
It's called visual radio.
Visual radio.
Yes, visual radio.
Nice one. But interestingly enough, we've done visual radio before because we did the majority of our episodes in the station on the feed. So, yeah, this shouldn't be that big a deal, you know. I figure we could figure it out.
It shouldn't, but the fact that for the past 18 months or so, we have been doing the living room remotely from the comfort of our own homes, and we have been mentioning that to you. Now, we are welcoming you, the listeners of WAC 90.1 FM, into our homes.
Good point. The roles reversed. Before they've been welcoming us into their homes. And now they know. Well, look at that. I should have cobweb.
Yeah, you should have. And over the course of this season, you may happen to catch us in different locations of our own homes as we do these recordings.
Correct is right, because as much as we want to make it sound like we're going on tour, sometimes the internet just stronger in different places.
And as school has started back yesterday, we are competing for bandwidth.
Correct is right.
So we really have to take that into consideration and also respect the needs of the next generation as they get their education.
Hey, as you mentioned that, you think it's time to introduce?
It's time.
Yeah, one of the new segments.
Well, we wouldn't call it a new segment, but we are formalizing some of the segments which we had before. All right.
So how are we doing it first?
When you come into the house, according to Granny, you used to have to take off your hat and hang it and then wipe your feet.
Correct is right. No hat in the house.
So, yeah, but I know hat rule. I don't know why. Anyhow, so how we enter the living room now is that one of us would hang our hat and the other would wipe their feet. Hanging your hat is something positive that happened over the past week, whereas wiping your feet is just leaving that piece of negativity that you are experiencing outside, because we had to come in here with a pure heart and a pure mind.
How you get in?
No comment.
You know what I want to do?
All
I
right,
think I
cool.
will take the hanger hat if you don't
No
mind.
problem.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, school reopening. I wanna I wanna personalize this one. I have a brethren of mine, a fella named Quinton Mohammed, and this man for every year for maybe the past 7 or 8 years, we have been doing back to school drives and projects where we've been, and he's not mal looking for glamour hunting, but he's actually we've done bookless drives where we've enlisted our friends and family to contribute to getting school books and supplies for the kids going back out to school. And this is a thing that we've done quietly and sometimes not so quietly over the past couple of years. And this year, uh, he wants to modernize the project a little bit and do some. He wants to do some tablets and devices for kids in homes so that they'll be able to, properly be engage the new school term. So I want to hang my hat by acknowledging that there are citizens who are very quietly, very discreetly, and out of the goodness of their own heart, making the types of sacrifices and efforts and contributions and soliciting help from the community to, try to take care of the nation in little ways like this now. So I just want to hang my hat by acknowledging that even in a time as trying as this, SCA results coming out, remote schooling, hybrid schooling, rumor to start soon, that type of thing. I just want to acknowledge that there are citizens who are quietly, diligently doing the duty and fulfilling our wish, our ambition over the past couple of years, which has been to be better citizens. So that's how I hang on my hat. That's how I had to start this thing.
Which leads me to wipe my feet.
Hmm.
And boy, oh boy, do I have an interesting way to wipe my feet. Trinidad and Tobago. Why do we continue to confine our culture to a box? Why do we continue to confine our culture to a season? American artist released an album over the weekend. Actually, two over the past week.
Mm-hmm.
And our local social media feeds have been flooded with who has the better artist, who has the better album, who has the better lyrics. But yet still, 1,000 of us can't even come together and say what was Chalk Dust last song, what was Terry Lyons last song. They can't identify with our own, but we are very well aware of what's taking place outside. We need to stop confining our culture to a 3-month period. I beg of you. Now, I'm not going to say I don't listen to my dancehall or I don't listen to my rap, but I stay abreast of what's taking place with my local artists. Jimmy October released a EP. Jonathan Warren released an EP recently. How many of us went to Spotify or Apple Music and purchased that album? But we rushing to download CLB and Donda.
CLB?
Yeah, I don't want to call the whole name of the album.
Word.
Love We Own First now.
If I could just I want to wipe a whole foot, but maybe a little baby too or something. But you say love your own first. I don't mind if you love something else first, but at least love your own also now. Love your own also.
I like that. I like the addition. That baby too.
I say there's enough to distribute. We're not trying to tell anybody what to like and how to like it. What we just saying is go.
Yeah, boy.
I have an idea, Aaron.
What's that?
As we're still in the initial stages of the show, this would be a good opportunity, since it's just us, to, in the absence of a guest, to run a clip. Remember, we had a nice soundbite from Professor Peters that we wanted to run. So this would be a good opportunity to let the people know they have not been forgotten by some of our past guests. And this was a nice message, and I think it's a great one to start the season with as well.
No problem.
We think about emancipation as a state of being coming out of the act of emancipating. Whether it is those who are enslaved manumitting their freedom as in comparison to those who had possessed human beings, in that case our ancestors, that are doing the manumitting. And those are fundamental differences because C.L.R. James once said that if you are not their slaves, you are categorized as being their rebels. And so our world as we know it today is broken up into two different kinds of peoples who are descendants of emancipated peoples. Those who took their freedom and versus those who were gifted their freedom. And those who were gifted their freedom, in many ways, on an economic, on a political forefront, and even in a cultural frame, operate within society, within the global society's social structures. Those social structures dictate whether or not we are well-behaved, well-manicured subjects to be called upon in the international spectra and to reproduce the cultures that they have wiped away and imposed a new one on us. So the question about emancipation bears many examples in how we see ourselves moving through space and time in the world that we are living in. Because the examples are there for those who have taken their freedom and have bared the cost of taking their freedom. They are the rebels that C.L.R. James once spoke about. So does that mean that we are still in some form of servitude to a new master or the same masters? It is something that we must think about. How we fashion ourselves into the future with science and technology and how we think about the environment. Are we using the same tools given to us by our former masters who used us as a means of their production? How are we engaging with our fellow neighbors, regardless of their gender, regardless of if they decide to return to the spiritual systems that was once taken from them, or they show up in the workplaces in their authentic selves? That is the question. I leave this with you. Frantz Fanon once said that if we are to build a new world, we must do it using our own brains, in our own way of thinking. We cannot replicate what that Europe has done because we might as well just leave it for them to do it because they will know how to do it best. But if we are to build a new world, we must fashion it on our own terms. And we must have the courage to do so. Cheers, my good friend. Alafia.
Listen, you could always count on Professor Peters, or as you fondly known by his associates, Pete, for dropping a word of knowledge. And believe it or not, a word of knowledge or knowledge. It was inspiring, and I thought it was only fair that despite not delivering it when we wanted to, but sometimes you have to acknowledge that the right time is just now.
Very true.
The right time is now. Listen, this season 3, we calling it season 3?
Yeah.
We're calling it season 3. That's what's happening.
Now is the time.
What now is the time for what, Aaron?
I can't remember the rest of the lyrics.
But is it time for something?
Yeah, it's the time, man.
I hear you with that, brother. So, Mr. Man, what have we missed? I know you the current events guy, you know.
Me?
In my little bubble, I don't know what is be going on, and you
I'm the
demand to
current
bring me up to
events guy.
speed. Yeah. What I
well-
missed is our what, nearly a month? Is about 3 weeks or a month we haven't been on?
Yeah, I think so. There have been a lot of events taking place on our local political scene. Some of which I choose not to discuss or bring to the fore.
As is it right?
As we all know, we are currently under an extension of the SOE until November. Right? So just saying, guys, be guided accordingly.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
The coronavirus is still with us.
Mhm.
If you did not know.
Right. That may have slipped me. That may have slipped me.
So now it may look like we're in the same room here, but we are actually in very different places of the country. So we are properly physically distanced. So we ask you to do the same.
Correct is
We
right.
also ask you to wear your masks,
Correct is right.
sanitize or wash your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're sick,
Stay home.
stay home.
Stay home.
Now that leads me to another discussion, which I think we should have. Right?
We're gonna be all corporate. I'm him a corporate,
we-
but all responsible citizen.
Yeah. I do understand that in balancing lives and livelihoods, some
Wait.
persons may want
Time out. You say lies and lives, lies and livelihood, or lives?
Lives.
Oh, all right, cool. Because
lives.
I thought you say you weren't going to talk politics now, but go on as you were.
right in balancing lives
Mm-hmm.
and livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us who may be exhibiting symptoms which are akin to that of the coronavirus
Mm-hmm.
may feel the need that we still need to go to work because we can't afford to lose that day pay.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, I'm just asking that if you are exhibiting the symptoms, please try your best to avoid going into contact with people. I know you may consider that day pay, but what's more valuable? Losing the day pay or possibly, just possibly, spreading a virus which you don't know that you have as yet?
You know, I mean, it has been and will be a difficult position to be in. And one of the things I want to acknowledge is that there's another variant. I can't even see on the horizon, but it's emerging, right? I think it's Mu.
Yeah.
Right. Again, this is not to stoke any fear or anxiety. What I'm saying is that we have an ongoing situation, and it is going to require vigilance, not a hypervigilance to the point where we start to normalize anxiety. I'm talking about just being mindful of the fact that while we might get a handle on it, it is still an evolving situation.
Yeah.
It is still the type of thing where, all right, you know what, I may have gotten vaccinated like I did. I'm a 2 shots, I'm a 2 weeks past, so I good. But here the catch, I still have to wear my mask. I still have to social distance. I still have to practice all the hygiene, the social hygiene, public hygiene, all the safety mechanisms that I possibly can. And because all I have is an additional layer of protection. This is not like, a super soldier serum and I coming out like Captain of, Trinidad, right?
Let not go too far down that road, Ricardo.
I am telling you that I am still exercising, regardless of whatever measures in place, personal responsibility as best as I possibly can.
Right.
And nobody had to tell me what to do, how to do it, for me to do the right thing.
And that's all we're asking. Be
That's
safe.
all.
Right? So let's shift away from that.
Shift away from what? We done gone already.
Right.
What happened the other night?
What do you mean?
Sunday night. Something happened Sunday in CPL. I wasn't around.
TKR win.
But it was dramatic. It was sensational. It was
not really dramatic, and not to say sensational, because we had the tally was 15 for 5.
Okay.
And they still went on to make 138.
All right.
Excellent batting from Craig Bathwaite and I can't remember the other gentleman who played along in the partnership,
All right.
right? But TKR, we did win the game convincingly in 17.1 overs with a top score of 70 by Lendell Simmons.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're Mr.
that should-
Simmons, man.
That should take us up to, I think, either second or third in the table,
Mhm.
with St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots in first place.
You see, this is why I call it Mr. Current Events, because I was clueless. I have no clue what has been going on. And the thing is, I look forward to CPL, and then it
Mhm.
starts, and then I forget that it's going on, and then I always promise myself I'll watch the game after. It don't work.
Well, I know you're a busy man.
I'd like to say I'm more productive than busy. You could be busy doing nothing, you know. You know, there are plenty of people going nowhere fast.
Exactly.
When you check them, they're always doing something, but they have nothing to show for what they're doing.
Hmm.
Yeah, just strategize a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, let get down. You know,
I
we
hear it.
always tend to have
I
the
hear it.
dog.
The neighbor
Yeah,
dog
boy.
on cue. On cue. It's time to feed the dog, Aaron.
He's the neighbor's dog. I don't have to feed him.
I'm gonna take this conversation a little ratchet, but I will dial that down for now. You were saying something that appeared to be significant.
Yeah, you know, we always tend to have some very interesting discussions inside the living room, right? And tonight I want to pose a topic for us to discuss.
Just you and me.
Just you and I.
Mhm.
As we are heading in, and not heading in, I should say, we are in the heights of the hurricane season.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the heights of an SOE.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the heights of navigating this pandemic. There are so many things that as individuals we are going through. What I really want to discuss today is how do we maintain that level of joy in our lives? Because everybody talking about the negatives and the different and everything, but sometimes that where you focus your energy is where it grows. So today I want to focus on the positives. How are you maintaining happiness in your life during this time, and what advice can you give to someone who is struggling?
No, Aaron, you may not know this about me, but I am not a fan of giving advice. I generally have positions. If the recipient of the other participants in the conversation sees value in my position, they could take it or leave it. But
All right.
I will admit you already start off on the right foot by saying that you prefer to focus on the positive. The grass is greener where you water it. Plain talk, bad manners. The grass will always be greener where you water it. Now, there's a concept I came across a couple of weeks ago called toxic positivity. And what I would suggest is that we don't stray into toxic positivity by pretending that nothing is wrong, or by trying to gloss over every situation with everything will be all right, or don't study it, or look on the bright side. That is not always the healthiest way to address an issue. Sometimes the feelings that you might be having are a direct representation and reflection of whatever it is you're dealing with. It's only natural to feel bad in bad situations. What I would suggest is you acknowledge that it is a difficult situation or a difficult time. It could be a difficult day. You could be having a great day and end up in a difficult conversation. Acknowledge the existence of things that you may not necessarily enjoy dealing with, but do not allow them to contaminate the fact that there are still things that you find joy and value in. And here the catcher, joy is second generation gratitude. The first step to maintaining joy is to practice gratitude. As simple as it may sound, I was on a program doing a mentorship with the Sophia Miriam Foundation, and we actually had a really nice session with the Steve Harvey Foundation, the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation. And one of the women on the program, she mentioned that every morning when she gets up, she makes a note of 5 things she's grateful for. 5 things she's grateful for from the day before. And I'm thinking, you could get up in the morning and say to yourself, okay, generic things. I wake up this morning, I have a roof, etc. And that's for the people who wake up this morning and have a roof. But what I'm saying is you could wake up and do a generic list of things you're grateful for. But when you stop and you look back on the day that you survived, and you could identify specific things within that day that you are grateful for, you actually reprogramming your brain to acknowledge that regardless of how the day turned out, there was value in it. And not just generic, thank you, Father, for the day, feel good, gratitude. Yeah. We're talking about specific gratitude, where now your mind starts acknowledging that there is value in the ongoing things. And having identified value and expressing gratitude for it, you begin to appreciate it for persisting even in the absence of ideal conditions.
Yeah.
You could get wet in rain and find a way to, when you reach home, you have a towel, you have a dry towel, because there are people who are getting wet in rain and have nowhere to go. I'm not saying we're not straying into the toxic positivity concept of, well, other people have it worse than me. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the reality of the situation that you are in. That while it is not the best, there might still be things in it that have value. And if you could continue to seek value and express gratitude in difficult situations, joy is the next step. Joy is a natural progression of recognizing value in difficult situations. So I will borrow that sentiment and suggest, listen, you're not gonna wake up in the morning and just decide to be joyful. You could wake up and decide to be positive, but the joyful is going to be the offspring, the second generation of your gratitude. So practice gratitude first and foremost, and practice specific gratitude. So short answer, wake up in the morning, please God, write down 5 things you're grateful for the day before. That's me there.
And I want to say that was the short answer.
Yeah.
So what we get before?
What I get before was context creation. That's what I'm going to start calling it. I've heard I could be long-winded. I prefer to refer to it as context creation. Yeah, that's where I'm going with it.
Wow, I don't even know how to follow that.
I mean, no, man, Aaron, we're doing this way too long for you to not have a comment or opinion.
All right, so for me, honestly, I would say one of the things that I try to tell people to practice is a chapter a day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Start your day grounded in faith, whatever faith it may be. Right? So when I get up in the morning, one of the first things I do after opening my eyes, I have a very simple prayer that I say. Right? Then after that, I have a book that gives me a Bible chapter a day.
Mm.
Then after that, I have a motivational quotes, one of those flip paper thingies,
mm-hmm.
right? That gives me a motivational quote a day. I start grounded in faith. And not faith by, as you say, just saying, thank you, Father, for another day. But being specific in the things that I am thankful for. And then also motivating myself. For those that don't know, I have a very stressful job.
Sorry.
What?
I just love the diplomacy with which you said that, Aaron. It is admirable. I love it.
So I have to mentally prepare to head in to deal with that on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us are faced with similar situations in terms of stressful jobs or stressful commutes. Another thing that I find very helpful is creating a schedule.
I could write that down.
Right? Yes, you should.
I could write that down.
Right, so creating a schedule. So I know I have to get to work for 8. I try my best to leave the house no later than 7:45. I work 10 minutes from where I live.
So you're still leaving a 5-minute window for the
Yeah,
right.
right. I have a certain morning program that I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I try my best to catch it every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I don't catch the morning program, I have a certain song that I listen to.
Right.
When I get to work, I open my Bible again. And for those of us who are so inclined, my Bible is constantly on Psalm 91 at my desk.
Hey, Psalm 91 saved my life,
Right? It's about creating schedules. I try my best to take regular breaks at work. I try to have lunch the same time every day. I try to drink 3 liters of water. I try to get in at least an hour of non-screen time daily. And I try my best to filter the content which I'm exposed to.
Listen, Mr. Man, you're dropping some nuggets here,
Yeah, right? And balanced with that, there's something that a lot of persons don't know. I try my best to, in addition to the no screen time for an hour,
Tap
to
dance.
spend at least 30 minutes
Tap dancing.
reading each day.
Okay. Yeah, so it is additional reading outside of your
Yeah.
chapter in the morning, your encouragement slash
and
affirmation.
it doesn't have to be Bible reading
Mhm.
or whatever holy book you so subscribe to, but just reading
Fiction, non-fiction, or just anything.
anything.
So literary,
Yeah.
a literary window then.
Yeah, the other day I found myself reading Romeo and Juliet.
Love in the Mind or tragedy?
I don't know how that book came out, but I just happened to read it. Very interesting story, I must admit.
Yeah. I know you read a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be a surprise to anybody. If I move my chair right now, you'll see a bookshelf behind me. And
Well, if I move my chair,
several-
you'll see curtains.
several dozen shot glasses, but we're going to talk about that as a collection. Yeah.
Oh, as you said, mentioned shot glasses.
Hmm.
There's something which I read recently, and I think a lot of persons are not very much aware of.
What's that?
Substance usage during this time can cause more harm than good.
Mm.
And when I say substance usage, I'm not just talking about drugs and stuff like that. Alcohol, and overabuse of coffee or
Mhm,
soft
mhm.
drinks. All
Sugar.
those things are substances. Sugar, thank you very much.
Mhm.
All those things are substances.
So what you're trying to imply here, Aaron, that while we might be sheltering from COVID, we could be developing lifestyle
Lifestyle
diseases.
diseases, yeah, and substance usage is used.
Hmm.
Not because they decriminalized a certain substance means that you have to abuse it.
Is the old adage, too much of a good thing?
Yeah.
Too much of anything.
200%.
Yeah, before people feel as I advocate one way or another for something I not really advocate for one way or another.
Yeah, but like, and that's my 2 cents on for me. I can't speak for anyone else. But creating a schedule and you see the moderating the content part.
Yeah, that is important.
Yeah, boy.
You know what I would suggest, Aaron?
What's
That in the event someone has a longer commute than you do, and it takes more than, let's say, the 10 or 15 minutes to get to work, I suggest that they go on to SoundCloud and look up the Living Room 868 and listen to some of the archived episodes that we have up.
Yeah, that's also a good way to pass the time. But that would mean that person would need to have data.
True. Yeah, unless you have a SoundCloud where you could download, and I think that's you could download from SoundCloud.
You could, yeah. We could make that available for the listeners.
Yeah, at the end of the day too, it's about we trying to create positive content. in
Bacchanal and fire and burn.
yeah. So, we should make it available to the people at the people's convenience too.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
Yeah, we'll find ways to make sure that in the event you don't catch us on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. on WAC virtual radio. Well, visual radio.
Yeah, visual. Yeah,
Yeah, visual radio.
Radio, you can see.
Hey, yo, hey. I just saying Kenny's our boss. Yeah. We'll find
He's
ways.
the boss.
Hey, God is the boss. Kenny is a boss. Kenny's
Our
our
boss.
leader. He's our leader.
He's our boss.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Kenny, Mr. Philip, how you doing, sir? Yeah. But you know what? And you're right. Creating positive content is our thing. And you know what? We're not saying that you have to sit down and ingest our offerings, But if you're looking for music, you can check out DJ Aaron 868 on SoundCloud. Great
Yes, man,
mixes.
alright.
I just saying, Aaron, we have the opportunity. People haven't seen us in a couple of weeks. You know what? Some people haven't seen us in months because they've just been looking. They've been listening to us in studio, right? So I'm also going to take the opportunity to utilize the visual moment and see that next side. Yeah, that lovely picture portrait done by Kyra Gill. Yeah, she's a boss. Check her out on Facebook, Kyra Gill Arts.
Or
Great
what
stuff.
we could do if you're looking for your daily dose of spirituality, you could search for Operation Floodgates on Instagram,
Facebook,
Facebook,
YouTube
as well.
Yeah, trying to get out there, trying to
Right?
pour positive content. Disrupt these timelines.
And that's our thing. It has always been our mission because people listen to the back and forth and the banter between both of us, and they don't know that this actual on-air facade that some of us think it is an actual friendship that spans almost 10 years, probably longer.
Yeah, it could be longer when you really do the math.
Right? And one of our missions as friends has always been to pour in and help where we can, how we can.
Yeah.
And
if I'm not mistaken, I think one of the first projects we did outside of the charity sports club that we were in, you and I, we started working separately from, let's say, the group. We started working separately, working children's days and doing fundraisers. Yeah. So social work, this type of social engagement, and I want to call it charity. Let me call it social.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always our commonality we had.
And now we have taken the actual work that we have done out there in the real world, and now have come to a space where we are trying to create this positive content for you, the listeners, each and every week. And not just the positive content each and every week, but even outside of that, we are still doing a lot of work. Some which we can say, some which we can't.
True.
But we are fighting to continue to make better citizens out there.
Sometimes all I could do is make enough noise that somebody gets up to listen to what you're saying. So I want to thank, as always, the best listeners in the world. WAC listeners and supporters, you guys have been encouraging. You've been pouring into us. You've been supportive. Even though it's just a very fascinating experience to know that, somebody might message you in the Facebook Messenger, and just say something to make you feel a little better about the efforts. Just personalizing the experience. And that's why you know what, Aaron, we should do, even though we're recording from the safety of our homes, definitely going to jump on the YouTube shout box while the episode is airing.
Yeah.
That is what, what, we might not be able to take calls, but that doesn't mean we can't engage.
Guys, as you say that, there's something that I wanna just bring to the fore here. A lot of persons who are friends with me on Facebook used to laugh at my chronicles.
Yeah.
Right?
Always thought you made them up until this start happening.
Right?
Yeah.
And I will always recall the encounter in a roadblock when a policeman stopped me, as he's so entitled to do in a roadblock, and asked me where I'm going to and whatever. Saw the laptop bag, had to open it, and all these different things. And he asked, when he saw the laptop bag and then he saw my laptop and the logo, he was like, "Use the fella on the on that woman show on WAC." And then on there, I sat and I was like, yeah, because you never know who's listening.
True.
So I want to shout out those persons tonight who listen, not just to this program, but to WAC 90.1 FM and enjoy what we are doing or what you're seeing.
Yeah. What you're seeing now, definitely.
Yeah, right. We want to thank you all because you all are the reason why we continue to do it. Because without you, there's no us.
You know, I just saying that, Aaron, you and I, a lot of the conversations we have on air, a lot of the things we do, the interactions we have, they are as genuine. Literally, we do the same thing off air. We have the same conversations, whether we being observed or not. And what I'm saying is that the value we get from the feedback, the encouragement from somebody clicking like or listening to the program or sharing it or just commenting, that is fuel that we don't just get from each other. You all actually pour into us by being that responsive. It is a beautiful thing to let people know that you like what it is they're doing. We're not charging anybody for anything. We just doing what it is we're doing because it is there to be done and to be encouraged in it. Listen, and it doesn't even have to be us. If you like an artist, click like, share the music, buy a song. If you can't afford, call and request it. Right? If they may not be digital, buy them a cup of coffee or make a donation if they end up in our live concert. What I'm saying is find a way, even if it's to just share the YouTube video, just find a way to let the people who put in and pouring out, let them know that you care.
That it's not falling on deaf ears.
I know
And as I say deaf ears, I want to shout out the deaf ear movement. Because this is Suicide Week.
Suicide prevention, suicide awareness, or
suicide prevention. Right? So guys, I know you all may think that we strayed from what we originally started talking about in terms of bringing you joy. But what you have to look at is that joy just doesn't come from within. Sometimes persons need external gratification. And sometimes telling someone morning or answering them when they say good morning, telling someone, hey, that's a nice tie or that's a nice shirt, goes a long way.
Acknowledging someone's existence, letting them know that you see them, that is a powerful thing. It doesn't
not
take
just seeing them to Marco,
Yeah, no, not watching them, seeing them. Although watching them, some people into the watching thing, is at the end of the day to each their own. And we in that type of culture now anyway. But what we're talking about is acknowledging people and truly seeing them is the most empowering thing you could do. And it doesn't cost you anything to do it. You could empower someone without $1. You could empower someone without a word. Just acknowledging them. You don't have to be creative and lyrical and expressive, or you don't have to afford it to let somebody know that you see them. Communication is a beautiful thing. Sometimes listening to someone is enough to let them know that I acknowledge you.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I like the direction you take it to. And Naraya, thank you very much for always including us in the Deaf Air Movement's work. It really, that type of thing bolsters inclinations you would have, you'd be like, I want to get involved and I don't know how to help. And then when you get the opportunity to actually get involved, it reinforces that thing inside of you and it empowers you to get other people involved or to help someone when they want to help and don't know how to get involved. So,
yeah. It's a lot of ripple effects. And sometimes you just have to drop that stone in the bucket.
I want to acknowledge that on Sunday, September 5th, I got a Facebook notification. It was a memory that I'd posted that I was going to be joining you on the ladies' room in WAC 90.1 as a guest 4 years ago to the day.
Really?
Yeah. So this premiere episode here, which is what the PO is for, it's this season, this visual format, it
Mhm.
feels full circle. It feels like a new chapter, and I'm really honored to be on this journey in this vessel with a fairly capable co-host and mentor. Just throwing it out there. You can't get more than that from me right now here. You can't get more than that. All right. Just take
No-
it. Just
no
just take
comments.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So what do you think? September we'll start our seasons.
Yeah, every September, we will kick off a new season with a new look,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we have been paying attention to the topics which you all are very interested in. So we'll be trying our best to focus a lot more on them.
Yeah, I did the math here, and we did maybe 12 out of 40 episodes last year we dedicated to mental health in some form or format.
Mhm.
You know,
So we know that's one of the things that we are constantly striving for and fighting for to improve the mental health awareness here in Trinidad and Tobago and around the world. We'll also throw in some more relationship topics as
yeah,
well.
most definitely, especially considering the constraints that a lot of people are under right now. I think people need a little help navigating the space with those close to them.
Right. Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know.
definitely gonna get some more sports. Definitely
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
get some more sports. I
Yeah,
think that sports deprivation we went through a couple months ago. Men watching curling and cornhole and that kind of thing on TV.
Cool.
I
But yeah, now
listen,
I don't understand that sport yet,
but apparently it's a big deal.
Well, yeah, because it's always on ESPN.
And
yeah, but
as I say, this season we definitely gonna be doing a lot more. Gonna bring in some sports. We gotta reconnect the people. We can't tell people that we want them to come out and support Trinidad and Tobago and support our athletes and that type of thing.
yeah.
And we not giving sport fair footing compared to the other things that we deal with on the show.
As you talk of sports, I just want to touch really quickly on the Olympics
Hmm.
and commend the athletes for their showing.
Mm.
We were not able to return home a medal, but we were able to give a good showing at the games. And sorry to see the injury to the young man in the 4x4.
Yeah, but
Yeah. And now we are in the midst of the Paralympics. And we had our first wheelchair athlete ever in
hey,
the history of Trinidad and Tobago.
listen, Aaron, as a DJ, you really need to work on getting some sound effects and thing in this mix,
Yeah, we
I
will
just-
work on that for another episode. I'll
Just
figure
throwing
out
that
a
out.
way.
Just throwing that out there.
We'll
You
figure
know,
out a way.
hey, yo, we in 2021. We had time to break the fourth wall, time to acknowledge the role technology has in what it is we've been able to do. Right? If you want, you could send me some of them sound effects and we'll try to, mix it up a little bit, bring a little vibes. If you were in the station, you'd be pressing buttons and things would be happening. Ba, 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 ba.
Well, we should never do that again.
Hey, you know what? But I'm keeping it. What what sound effect you would do for wiping your foot though? Because I know for hanging my hat, I probably will come in with a little ba da da ba ba da da or something like that. What sound effect you would vocalize for wiping your foot?
Again, this is as real as it gets, guys. This is just us, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna share something because we have about 15 minutes left inside tonight's program, or less.
I think it's considerably less.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna share something with you, the listeners, and this is us being transparent. We know we took a break from being on air with you. It's because we had to perfect this new visual format. We have been looking at other shows, we have been reading articles, many different things we have been doing to make sure that we can put forward a good presentation to you, the listeners. And no matter how much things we read, how much shows we watched, we came up with the decision that the best way to put this show forward to you is by just being us.
Correct is right.
If we change who we are, this show wouldn't be what it is.
All I say in Aaron is that that you just do for wiping your foot. That, sorry, that is in it. I'm sorry, it is what it is. And you know what? You're right too. Regardless of what the articles say, regardless of what the research says, that type of thing. Ultimately, you wanna engage professionally, but you also don't want to lose the personality. You also don't want to lose the thing about you that you could contribute to whatever environment that you're in.
Yeah.
You know, we're beyond robots, and you're not a robot, dear listener. Right? Plain talk, bad manners, you are not a robot. There is a place that you are in where you're trying to figure out how to do what it is you're inclined to do. And listen hard enough and you'll find it. You know, but don't afraid to ask a question. Don't afraid to get help, but still be yourself. You know, try to navigate and you'll find a way. Too many people trying to figure out how to just be. You know, I think we overthink anything.
Yeah.
We overthink anything. You know, so yes, we'll make weird sound effects. And yes, we'll make fun of each other's clothing choices. We'll even ask Aaron why at his age he painting a wall red. But you know what? Your wall, why you paint the wall red though?
Just saying, red is one of my favorite colors.
It's one of your favorite colors. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
so my office is actually red and a kind of off-white.
So red, white, and the black in your bed.
Yeah.
Once it's not in your heart, Aaron.
The black of my devices.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Right. So guys, that's just how we are. And we are welcoming you into another season of the living room.
It's going to get weirder.
Yeah. And as we welcome you, we must say thank you to the lady that passed the baton to me and that I am holding as Ricardo, and I continue to run this leg of the race. We must say thank you to Marsha.
Correct is right.
Because without Marsha, neither of us will be here.
Thank God for Marsha. Thank you, Marsha. Having interviewed you last season was one of the highlights. Aaron, I tell you, feed the dog, you know.
It's not a dog this time, though.
You hear somebody wiping the foot or what?
One episode I think we need to do this season, we need to do something on the folklore of Trinidad and Tobago.
I right there with you.
Because the other night I was driving home, close to 9. I passed somebody on the side of the road. When I look in the rearview mirror, I didn't see them again.
That was in the back seat.
No.
Yo, you know what? So you're right. Let me put it out here. Let me put it in a position we could be held accountable. So we're gonna get folklore in. We're gonna get more sports in. Right? More relationship talk in. Well, we had the mental health lock already. Yeah. Right? Current events. We'll do the current events when we do in between guests and that type of thing.
Yeah, because we have there's another conversation that we started with Mr. Nikolai Edwards that I think we need to continue. Of what or who makes up the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, you know it can't be all skinty tangerine and pouring messages. We had to stick some medication in the mix too, because as a people we need to be a little more mindful of the factors that responsible for the situations that we in.
Yeah. So
correct is right.
So guys, we have just about 5 minutes left with you tonight, if so much.
I feel there's a good time for you to introduce yourself. You realize we sit down for the whole show.
Yeah, boy, and we didn't even really talk about who we are.
So unless you were listening to the program pre-COVID, you may not even know that this is yours truly, Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage and the local stage, the guest who never left. you may not have even known that. Yeah. I can say it now.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna do it, Aaron?
This is yours truly, DJ Aaron 868. I'm always great, and I am definitely never late. Yeah.
So you're not doing the whole thing with the I rate and the B rate and
No. That done honestly. That's done. That was so last season. I could say that now.
So you're done with the buffering thing. You're just
Yeah.
gonna do the right thing, set an example, and study your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll have to go forward, looking back.
Mhm. You can't want to go somewhere and stay in the same place.
That's a nice point. We have people who want but don't pursue.
Yeah.
So I'm taking that. You have any music for us to wrap up this session with? Because normally we'd ambush the guest with the question, but
actually guess the question. But now since we are in this new visual radio, we are gonna be doing a video to end the program each and every week.
Mhm.
So if you are locked on SoundCloud, when this episode airs, it will be up immediately after the show is done. If you want to request a video that you would like to see from your favorite local artist, you can sound off in the comments and tell us what video you want to see. All right, that's how we're gonna get interactive with you, the listeners.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And again, you guys could check us out on Instagram. Is DJ Aaron 868 on Instagram, and I am Social Sage. What?
And I'm gonna say not just on Instagram, across all your favorite social media platforms.
You just DJ Aaron 868.
Just DJ Aaron 868.
Across the board.
Across the board. Everywhere.
Right. So the show they could find you.
Yeah.
Right. Me, Instagram, Social Sage Cardo, SOCIAL SAGECARDO. Social Sage Cardo. Right. And you know what? I'll probably just drop some letters up there on the screen so you can see it. But yeah, you know what? Don't afraid to message, and if you have a topic you want us to touch on or a song you want to hear or something, we right here, we right here.
And trust me, we respond to the messages.
The correct is right. At least until when we get big and there's all kind of 10 and 12 million people following us, we might have to hire somebody to do them things.
Yeah. Just don't message my personal phone.
Don't message your personal phone. So don't call out your number now then.
Nah, don't call it out.
Don't call it out.
No.
All right, cool.
Anything you want to say quickly before we wrap up?
Yo guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good, stay safe.
And as I always say, love is the currency, so spend some today. All right, we're gonna end with not soca, because there's a lot of other music coming from our shows. We're gonna end with a piece from Jimmy October. It's called Remember the Days. Keep it locked. Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band.
God bless.